Hello there. Welcome to my beautiful garden called Kadam Bagh. It's called Kadam Bagh because it grows under this mighty Kadam tree. And once again, bust the myth that you can't grow things under trees. So we have a lot of native trees growing here like Kadam, and this is Papri. I'm not sure what it's called in English. And we also have one here which is called Citrus, which, as you can tell from the pods, is actually a nitrogen fixing tree. So we have all these big trees, mighty trees, and yet under it, we've planted an entire layer of plantation. And recently I planted about 30 more new trees here, which include pomegranate, guavas, pears, peaches, avocado, and custard apple, and I'm sure many others which I can't name right now. So while this second layer of trees, which will just hit a height of maybe 10 to 15 feet, are growing up, I'm also growing things under them. And at the moment, the two big crops that are growing here are ginger and turmeric. Both of these are rhizomes, and they did need a lot of water initially to really burst to life. And this garden during the monsoon just has the right kind of water flow for a garden like this to do very well. And that's because we've managed our water very efficiently here. So even though our soils are a bit sandy and very porous and they drain quite fast, with the help of a lot of organic matter and mulch, we managed to hold the water in the soil for extended periods of time. And that helps crops like these to do well. You can see to my left that this is a very old little pond that we built here many moons ago. And it continues to be a little bit unkempt and, shabby looking. But it is a big reservoir for us. And when we have rains, water tends to accumulate here and then keeps discharging itself into this ground much after the rains are gone. And that's how the plants end up doing so well. And so do the trees. And you'll find even things like bananas are growing in this little garden. So you'll see one grove here and another one there amidst the turmeric. And same, formula. These are all banana circles. They get a lot of mulch and decaying matter, which is sort of generated here itself. And of course, you'll see a lot of mulch on the beds because where's the mulch coming from? It's coming from the trimmings and the choppings of the same trees under which we are growing these. So you see how it's becoming like a self-fulfilling cycle. One of the things that I want to tell you about while growing rhizomes is that when you plant them, they often get eaten up by fungus. They tend to get a fungal contamination, and you'll find that, you planted 10 rhizomes, but only like 6 or 7 have cropped up and 3 have died. And at least locally here, a lot of people confuse it with termite. Like my farm help will say that, oh, termite ate up the ginger or termite ate up the turmeric, and that's why it didn't germinate. But the truth is it's not termite, it's actually fungus which is getting it. And to prevent that root rot, it's good to add trichoderma, which is another fungus, but that fungus actually fights this fungus. So trichoderma is very easily available and it's a natural product. I mean, it is just another type of fungus and you can make a solution out of it and either put all the rhizomes into that solution before you plant them, or in our case, we only realized that later. So after we had planted it, we actually took a diluted solution of trichoderma and put it in all our beds. And thanks to that, we have not really lost any of our plants, and most of the rhizomes that we had planted have actually sprouted into full-fledged plants. So I hope that tip is useful to you. And trichoderma also works well with citrus because citrus has the same problem. They tend to get a lot of root rot. If your citrus tree suddenly dies, you know what's happened to it. So this turmeric seems to be doing well. I mean, the stalks are really thick and healthy. And I can see some of the roots even sticking out. Oh my God. Wow. That's looking pretty good. And Panditji has been telling me, let's leave it here for another year and just not touch it. It'll again grow and we can, take it the next year. So we have yet to take a decision on whether we should harvest it this year or not. If you have a view, let me know in the comments. And maybe we can, take a decision that way. All right, we are on the edge of the garden. And what you see on the edge, like almost every edge of ours, in whichever garden I might take you to has a bunch of papaya circles. So now these papaya circles are very interesting because they are on the edge of that little rivulet which runs through our property in the monsoon. So during the rains, actually, there was like a big rush of water. And what happens when that water becomes a lot in volume and overflows? Where does it go? Yes, you guessed it right. It goes straight into the papaya circles. And thanks to that, I don't think you'll even believe this, but these papaya plants are actually just about 4 or 5 months old. And look how well they are doing. Just look at the girth. Look at the fact that they're already fruiting. And you can see that in the entire line here, that they are doing really well. Good, healthy plants, flowering well, fruiting already. All thanks to good design, sun falling on them, water coming in from the back, and all the matter that we collect from here when we do our cleaning. For example, when we harvest the turmeric or the ginger, all the matter that comes out will simply go into these papaya circles. And when you do that, you don't have to do anything else for the papaya. It's like a no-brainer. I mean, I don't know why we would do it any other way. All right, I'm taking you towards the upper edge. Actually, this is where our wildlife zone starts. So we don't really go there. Like, wildlife zone is for wildlife. So we try not to go there. But let me just pan here and show you. These trees, you can tell, are much smaller than the others. If you just do a comparative shot, you will be able to see that these are much smaller and those are much taller. Now, the reason that's happened is because these trees, these plants were under the shade of the Gulmohar tree, right? So now look up and see what have we done. We've actually chopped the Gulmohar tree quite a bit. Yeah, so we recently did that. We've chopped it up and we've let the sunlight come in. We think these guys are going to catch up now because every other input, whether it's nutrients or water, is the same for all the plants. But the third input, which is sunlight, is what these plants were lacking in. So a simple chop of the Gulmohar and light has come in, and these plants should now catch up and start gaining height. So you have to keep observing your garden and seeing, okay, what all is happening here really. If you don't interact, observe, learn, make mistakes and, sort of fail, try, you're not going to get this right. This is really all about connecting with your environment and seeing, the elements and seeing what's happening here, what isn't. What did we do with the Gulmohar branches? You guessed right. We put them into our wood chipper, chipped them into mulch and returned the mulch back into our beds. So, and this tree, even though it looks like it's got a crew cut right now, believe me next year, it'll be so dense again and we'll be wondering like, oh my God, we have to cut this again now because our poor papayas are not getting light. So do not worry about cutting away a tree too much, a non-fruiting tree. And so when people say, what does a tree give you which is non-fruiting? This is what they give. They give you biomass. They give you timber, they give you wood, they give you nitrogen fixing, they give you so many other things. And that's the reason why we need to have a good mix of plants, good mix of trees, and not just fruit trees in our garden. Okay, before we sort of end this, let's just look at the remnants of our summer garden right here at the back. So you see all these bottle gourds have been left on the plant and they're doing pretty well and they're like quite heavy and solid, but they've all been left on the plant for seeds. So there are three of these and we are waiting for them to sort of dry out so that we can harvest the seed. And these are the kind of seeds that you can find on our seed shop on ananda.com/shop. So if you would like some of our seeds, that's where you'll find them. And this is how we go about saving them, like completely naturally, just the way they would be in a food forest. So have I reached the end? Yeah, well, sort of. And you can see the depth of the garden behind me, that little pool I talked about, bananas in the back, some frangipanis peppered here just for beauty and charm. And of course, native trees surrounding us, which give us a lot of biomass, nitrogen, wood, and a great habitat for a lot of species of birds. So that's it from me today. And I hope you enjoyed this little walk that we did together. And I will see you again soon in another video. Take care. Bye-bye.